Welcome. It's Fix at 6. My name is Sean Robeck. We have another Wellness Wednesday coming your way, and this is a topic that a lot of people want to know about. During our Restart Wellness program, one of the questions we get when people begin is, do I have to eliminate alcohol? And the answer is no. You can have a good life consuming alcohol if you understand how to mitigate the negative effects of alcohol and also understand the consequences of drinking alcohol so you can make a decision on how much alcohol you want to consume. Now, this discussion is meant for people that are drinking around 7 drinks per week or more. That'd be 1 glass of wine or 1 drink per night, or somebody that would drink 7 drinks on a weekend, let's say a Saturday night. But the content here is meant for all. If you have a serious drinking problem, this is not so much the platform to learn from us. There are specialists out there that can assist. However, the information here can still serve. If you do have questions, please contact us at info@fixmedicalgroup.com. And if it's more specific and it's personalized to you and you want to speak to me directly, contact me, Sean, SHAWN, at fixmedicalgroup.com. And our promise to you is we'll get back to you within 24 hours of receiving that message. Now, there are a couple things we can talk about that are more along the lines of common sense. If you're going to drink, eat prior to drinking. It'll slow the absorption of alcohol. If you eat 10, 15, 20 minutes after you drink, the alcohol has already been absorbed into your bloodstream. So if you're trying to mitigate the effects of getting that euphoric feeling right out of the gates, consider eating prior to consuming alcohol. And then obviously alcohol is going to dehydrate you. We suggest that for every 1 alcoholic beverage you consume, to consume 16 ounces of water. But is water enough? We would suggest also to replenish your electrolytes. Sodium, magnesium, potassium. These all have to be replenished. And so please support your electrolyte balance and make sure that you're consuming enough water when you drink so you stay hydrated. Now, alcohol is a poison. Let's just be straight up clear about that. We're consuming a poison that has a mind-altering effect. And that poison creates cellular damage and destruction. No two ways about it. There's very, very minimal benefit to our bodies and our health by consuming alcohol. But there are a number of negative effects, especially for the daily consumer. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll focus on 3 points: how alcohol affects our gut and what we can do about it, how it affects our hormones and what we can do about that, and also how it affects our brain. So let's get into how it affects our gut. Number 1, alcohol is an antiseptic. What that means is that it kills bacteria. At one point, we use alcohol to clean wounds. Not all that comfortable. However, it does the job. And it also does the job on the gut. So when you're ingesting alcohol and it goes into your stomach and down into your intestines, it's killing the good microbiome as well as the bad. It's indiscriminate. So when we have a healthy microbiome and we're ingesting alcohol and we're killing that good bacteria, we're doing a massive disservice to our body, as well as the efforts that we've put in to create that good microbiome. And some people may be spending a lot of money on supplements, good foods, fermented foods, whatever it is, to enhance that microbiome. And then we're ingesting this cocktail that's killing it. Now, there's no better way to mitigate the negative effects of alcohol besides, well, to not drink alcohol. However, the point of this webinar is to make sure that you have tools so you can socialize, enjoy a beverage from now and again, and really mitigate those negative effects. When we are trying to save our gut, we're saving our gut so we can assimilate food and use that food as energy. So that helps us restore, maintain, and fuel our body. With alcohol, alcohol can create perforations in our gut lining, which is also known as leaky gut, which allows small undigested particles, microscopic particles, into our bloodstream. Those small microscopic particles are going to be picked up by the immune system and ultimately create inflammation systemically throughout our body. So not only is alcohol destroying our good bacteria in our body, but it's damaging the lining of our intestine, which is creating leaky gut, which is creating systemic inflammation. That's going to affect our organs, our brain, and our hormones. It's also going to create joint pain because systemic inflammation goes throughout the entire system. And if we're suffering with chronic pain, alcohol may allow us to feel better short term while we're consuming it, but long term will create more damage and more pain. So how do we fix, or I should say fix, mitigate the negative effects of alcohol in our gut? Number one, as mentioned before, eat more fermented foods. However, make sure it's a low sugar fermented food or drink. Kombucha is one, kimchi is another one, sauerkraut's another one. These are all fermented foods, and feel free to source good fermented foods and see what comes up for you that you would enjoy eating. But that's ultimately a prebiotic. So give yourself the foundation of good flora in your stomach and your intestine for you to have a battle with the alcohol when you decide to consume it. So obviously, fermented foods, prebiotic, but probiotics can also help the good bacteria in your system. So for me, if I'm going to consume alcohol, I'll have a probiotic at night, but I'll also have a probiotic in the morning. If I don't consume alcohol, I'll just simply have a probiotic at night. And my normal daily habits and what I ingest, it's enough fermented foods and prebiotics that I don't have to worry about supplementing with that. But if you're not, then consider supplementing with a prebiotic as well. Now, for the sake of this webinar, we try to keep these to 15 minutes so it's a quick punch of information, and you can use this for practical approach the following day or right away to make changes to your daily habits. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is how alcohol affects your hormones. You know, we talked about how alcohol creates inflammation. Now we're talking about how it affects hormones, but it's going to affect your libido as well, your sex drive. It's going to affect your sleep. And so as we're talking about this, alcohol has a lot of negative effects. We haven't even talked about your mood, your emotion, your memory. We'll get there, but there's a lot of negative effects associated with chronic use of alcohol, even if it's one drink per day. You know, don't remember once a client coming up to me saying, I wish I had less of a sex drive. I wish I didn't remember as much. My mood has changed for the negative. I don't sleep that well, and I'm irritable. We don't want that, but there's one substance we're putting in our body that's causing that, and oftentimes putting it in our body on a daily basis. And so we have to ask ourselves, do we understand the consequences of this daily habit? And is it really worth it? So let's get back to hormones. One thing we know for certain is that when you drink alcohol, it increases the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. It's called aromatization. We don't want that. We don't want testosterone converting to estrogen. This is where men can say, I have man boobs. It's something where they're starting to develop the female characteristics. And this can be a direct result of too much alcohol consumption. Now, there's a product that we use, and obviously having a good diet, an anti-inflammatory diet, a diet high in good, healthy fats, along with vegetables, limiting processed carbohydrates and sugars and sweets. All of this can mitigate the negative effects of alcohol as well. However, there's a supplement you can take called DIMS. DIMS is basically very refined, crushed up cruciferous vegetables, which can help prevent or minimize the aromatization process of testosterone converting to estrogen. And so we believe most people should be on it, especially if you're supplementing with hormones. But if you're a drinker, please supplement with DIMS. Now, another suggestion is that you can always supplement with hormones, whether it be bioidentical hormones done through a process of pellet insertion, using creams, injections, patches, whatnot. But we don't suggest that if you want to drink, let's just supplement with hormones. If you want to supplement with hormones and be proactive about balancing and then optimizing your hormones, my suggestion is this: don't use alcohol to bring down the supplementation and the effects you can get from that supplementation. Understand that alcohol is going to decrease the supplementation's ability to make you feel the way you desire, which is why you got the supplementation in the first place. So you have to understand the consequence of that behavior, especially if you're supplementing with hormones. Now, that being said, since this is a webinar about mitigating the negative effects of alcohol, if you are a drinker and you're supplementing with hormones, then you may feel better and may not totally feel the negative effects or the consequences of alcohol consumption. To summarize, and we'll get into the brain, your gut biome is affected by alcohol by killing the good bacteria and creating perforations in your gut lining, creating inflammation throughout your body that's wreaking havoc on your body. Eat an anti-inflammatory diet, take a prebiotic and a probiotic, and source fermented foods that you personally like that you can ingest on a daily basis. We know that alcohol affects our hormones and it converts testosterone to estrogen. So take the product DIMS. And if you are supplementing with hormones, please avoid drinking alcohol because you're affecting the effectiveness of the hormone supplementation. Now, we know that alcohol affects our brain. There's a direct relationship to it. Alcohol is both fat soluble and water soluble, which means it can travel anywhere in the body, including our blood-brain barrier. And unfortunately, this can have a negative effect on the cortex of our brain. Our brain can become thinner as a result of alcohol consumption. And the cortex of our brain deals with memory. Anybody forget anything after a night of drinking? Thinking, logic, reasoning, learning, emotions. This is everything the cortex does. And I wish I could say that alcohol doesn't have effect on the cortex, but it thins it, which means it's not going to be as functional, especially long-term. And long-term use of alcohol will alter your mood, your behavior, and your memory. And you may have seen this in yourself or others out there that you're close with. But also, ultimately, long-term, alcohol changes who you are as a human being. You can become erratic. We mentioned memory loss. Your attitude and your personality changes. Your behavior changes. Your mood changes. And it's because of the consumption of alcohol. And I wish I could say that there's a great way to mitigate the negative effects on your brain, but the best way to mitigate the negative effect on your brain is to not drink alcohol. There are supplements you can take that have been proven to help detoxify and support your system after alcohol consumption. Zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, glutamine, glutathione drips, vitamin C, and most importantly, your B vitamins. Get your B vitamins in, folate. These are the supplements that can help mitigate the negative effects. Now, Fixed Medical Group came up with the Restart Wellness program, as well as a 30-day detox. And the purpose behind this program and these programs are to heal your gut lining, number one, and then detoxify your liver, number two, but also teach you better daily habits to make sure that you can mitigate the negative effects of not just alcohol, but all the toxins within our environment we don't even know we're consuming that are creating negative effects in our body, as well as helping you with better daily habits so you can live the life you deserve and have the longevity you want and have this experience on life to be able to present yourself to the world the way you desire. This formulation can help you detox your liver and your gut and heal your gut in anywhere from 30 to 90 days. And if you're interested in learning more about this, please reach out to me directly, Sean@fixedmedicalgroup.com. There'll be more to come from Wellness Wednesdays on alcohol, how it affects you, and also how we can substitute certain habits for alcohol that can serve us better for a lifetime. Thank you for attending. Look forward to see you again on our next Wellness Wednesday at 6 o'clock next week.